Welcome to the Content Champion podcast. We provide the training and tools to help you become a content marketing champion in your online business. Introducing your host, the content champion himself, Loz James.
Welcome to the Content Champion podcast. On the show this time, I'm delighted to be discussing Evergreen link building techniques with award-winning SEO and digital marketer Matthew Woodward. Renowned for his in-depth SEO tutorials and case studies, Matthew has been helping business owners grow online since 2012. So with that all said, let's dive in. Thanks for coming on, Matthew.
Hi, how you doing? Thanks for having me. It's great to be here. Looking forward to sharing some hopefully useful strategies with you all today. And there's an important thing I want to tell you at the top of the show, and that is we're going to be discussing lots of different link building strategies today, but don't go and run out and use them all. You only need to use one or two. So just be aware of that as we're running through the notes. The one or two that resonate with you most, note those down and execute those and ignore the rest.
Cool. Okay. Well, before we get into that quick fire roundup of your top 12 link building techniques, could you share your backstory with us, please?
Yeah. I've been building websites before Google existed. We were writing them in Notepad. I had a paper round to pay for the server. I was heavily involved in competitive online gaming. That taught me a lot about what I know about video editing, and eventually transitioned into the corporate world, digital marketing, SEO. If anyone's listening that has experience in the corporate world, you know that sucks. So I think back in, like 2010, I took the leap full time to pursue my own things. So I've got a good mix of background from e-commerce to affiliate. You name it, I've done it more or less.
And tell us about your Matthew Woodward website, because I've been following a few people online, Pat Flynn, Yaro Starak and yourself since the beginning.
There's some impressive names to be amongst. Pat Flynn actually had a big inspiration on the blog on its early days. I loved how he communicated with people, how he taught people, how he built community and relationships with people. So hopefully some of that's flown through the blog, because he certainly was an inspiration towards it, amongst other people. But the blog's been, the blog was set up in August 2012. It's won a bunch of awards, but most importantly helped tons of people increase search traffic and earnings. The thing I like to show off most is the testimonials page. If you just read through that, that's real people seeing real results, changing businesses' lives and everything else. And that's ultimately what I set the blog up to do, and it's come full circle over the years, and great feedback, and led me to opportunities like this and other things. So the blog it was an experiment that ended up becoming quite the success.
Well, I mean, it's your SEO case studies and other tutorials that I really came to love your blog for. I can remember just really quickly an email system blog post that you did on how you send out your emails. And yeah. I took that wholesale and then edited it, for my own audience. And I ran that successfully for years. I've still got emails that are kind of based on that. And I used to get 55-60% open rates on some of my emails from that.
So that's great. Yeah.
So it works anyway. So
yeah,
let's dig down into these link building techniques. As you say rightly, we can't go off and do all of them, but there's a load here that are great, and you might be, more keen or more skilled or set up to do, a couple of them more than the rest. So let's go through some of them. I'll link to the blog post in the show notes as well. But let's just spend a couple of minutes looking at each one, and you can give us some ideas of sort of how to set them up, very basically how to do them. Let's start at the beginning then with testimonial link building. Take it away.
Okay, so you're right. Not all of these are going to be accessible to everyone. Some are going to be easier for some other people to do, but you're just looking for one or two to try and implement. Testimonial link building is the first one. Now, that's going to be easier for some people than others, but if you've bought or own any products or services in your niche, the owners of those products and services love testimonials. They love being told their product or service is awesome. And usually you can score a link by providing a testimonial. And quite often, if you give a really good testimonial, you can score yourself a homepage link, which is super, super, super powerful. So I've used that. If you go on mythemeshop.com, you'll see one there. At wpxhosting.com, you'll see one there. And, you know, nearly all of us have bought a product or service at some point. So it's just a case of making a list of things in your niche that you think might be relevant, dropping them an email and just seeing if they publish a testimonial. And usually I don't mention the link until after they've published it. And if they've included a link, cool. If not, I ask them and usually they do it.
That WPX hosting link's a great one. I got one of those with the testimonial. So, okay, let's move on to number 2, link roundups. What are these?
So link roundups are essentially okay, I used to publish way back when the best of internet marketing every month. Matt Diggity's publishing his own link roundup every month at the moment. And these happen in every niche, just rounding up the best news of the month. So if you have actually published something that's worthy, it's worth letting these people know that you've published that content so that they can include you in with the link. You're not always going to have something that fits, and you shouldn't be pitching everyone every single thing you publish because they'll just go cold on you. But if you've got something that really genuinely deserves a link and wants eyeballs, reaching out to people that publish link roundups is a great way to do it.
Okay, cool. Let's keep rolling on then, and then I'll stop us around about halfway through, just ask you a general question. Number 3 then is resource pages. How do we do those?
So resource pages, similar to link roundups, but more static. It's, for example, I might publish a list of SEO tools. Well, I do. I publish a list of SEO tools that I like. You might want to be included in that list of resources. I publish a list of the best SEO tutorials. You might want to be included in that. So you want to go and look for sites in your niche that publish these static resource pages, whatever they are, and look where you can be included in them. In the full blog post, you'll find all of the different search queries that you can use to find these pages. And again, it's just a case of pitching people saying, hey, I've got this, I think it'll be great. I've actually included a script in the post that you can use, and that's all there is to it.
Okay. Number 4 then, this one is often overlooked and it is very powerful, but people think you have to be building external links into your site. So we're looking at internal link building. How do we do this properly? Because it's quite a big one, isn't it?
Internal link building is one of the most underrated strategies I think that exists. And it's funny that you talk about it. I popped a number 1 spot last night from number 6 just by changing my internal link building structure last week. And that was for SEO Power Suite review. And all I did was make sure that all of my anchor text was 100% exact anchor match for SEO Power Suite review. So I just went through and edited all the posts, resubmitted for indexing, and a week later, pump, number 1. So internal link building is really valuable, and you really need to pay attention to it. If there's any specific pages that you want to rank that are currently on the first pages, you should just be looking, okay, what pages are linking to that page right now and what anchor text are they using, and you should try and make it as exact as possible and as close as possible with no confusion. Internal links are also, I've got my SEO hat on, but from a user perspective, you can also use them to direct people towards your most important pages. Now, what is an important page? To different people, it means different things. It might be that you might have a specific post or page on your website that converts better than others in terms of signups. So you want to try and funnel as much of your traffic to that page as possible, knowing that it's the most likely page to convert. You can use internal links to do that as well. It's not just about SEO. Now, I've actually got a much more detailed, dedicated tutorial about internal link building on my blog that teaches you 3 different processes that I use for internal link building. And you can spend an afternoon and really build a solid internal linking structure. You don't need to go too complicated with it. So if you've not paid attention to internal link building before, make sure you do. And probably if you haven't paid attention to it before, that should be one of the 2 strategies that you walk away and try today.
Okay, I'll link to that as well in the show notes. Can we get away with more aggressive anchor text exact match with internal link building?
Yes, with internal link building. Yeah, that the results I'm seeing is going 100% exact internal, and that's what's working at the moment for now. Anyway, you definitely shouldn't be doing that external.
There's a great blogger called Brandon Gailey who I follow as well, who's done exactly the same thing. Put a load of internal links in there, and his rankings shot up on already massive blogs. So I think that's one I'm definitely going to pay more attention to. Okay, let's move on to number 5, expired domain link building. What's that?
Okay, expired domains, quite simply a domain that used to be owned by somebody else has now been expired, but has some kind of weight to it in terms of SEO. There's an existing link profile pointing to that domain. So how do we use expired domains? Well, there's a couple of different ways. When I'm building any new niche site, I always build on an expired domain. But you have to be careful that you don't buy an expired domain that's being used as a spammy network or has a bunch of spammy links and whatever. You want to be buying the expired domain that's got, links from Wikipedia, CNN, Forbes, like really good established expired domains, and then flipping those to start building sites on, because you're going to start, if you've got a new domain with 0 links and this expired domain that's got 100 links on the likes of Forbes and Wall Street Journal, that's a huge head start. And, if you were trying to win those links or buy those links, you'd be into the thousands of dollars. So expired domains give you a head start in terms of building a niche site. But you can also use them to build out private blog networks. Now, that's a scary term for a lot of people, but if you build them right, there's no way that a human or Google can detect that a blog network is a blog network. It just looks like a normal site, acts like a normal site. Everything looks like a normal site. But there are a lot of pitfalls. So if you've never played with them before, don't touch them with a barge pole. There's a lot of things you can do wrong. You got to be very, very careful with that. The third way that you can use expired domains for link building is, instead of using a domain to build out a site on, you can just redirect the domain to your current money site. So, for example, matthewwoodward.co.uk. Let's say it's never going to happen, but neilpatel.com expires in the future. I might buy that domain and 301 redirect it to my site in order to pass the link juice that was previously pointing to neilpatel.com, and now I'm going to pass it through to my domain. And that's a great way to bolster the link profile of an existing domain. But you can only do 1 or 2 of those before it starts looking spammy. And the way I like to do it is actually put out a press release saying that this business acquired this business, so that when you set up the redirect, that is genuinely what would happen in a business acquisition. So you're giving it authenticity. So that's a good thing to pay attention to when you're using that strategy.
Okay, so there's a ton you can do with expired domains. Let's move on to number 6, perhaps everyone's favourite, the most popular, well-known, guest blogging. Shall we still do it? We should still do it, yeah? It still works.
Okay, so guest blogging is like a catch-22 for me. It's funny because it's like the go-to link building strategy of white hat SEOs. But if you're doing link building, you're no longer a white hat SEO. Link building's against Google webmaster terms. There's, like, as soon as you're creating links in order to manipulate search rankings, and that's what guest blogging is, right? So not only that, now if for anyone that's doing decent amounts of guest blogging, you'll know that finding a free guest post is like super rare. Everyone wants like compensation, right? So in essence, the white hat link building strategy that was never white hat in the first place has come full circle and is now buying backlinks. That's what they're doing, right? That's what it is. In essence, you're buying links, except for before you used to just be able to buy links. Now I've got to buy links and give you the content. Like, so, whether you should still use it, yes, you should still use it, but don't get confused that it's white hat or any of that. It's not. You're building links to manipulate search rankings. In many instances, you're buying that link. It is as black hat as you get. I mean, I don't believe in those labels, but if you want to put those labels on things, it's black hat. For me, there's a search algorithm. We just got to give it what it wants. How you give it really doesn't matter. So guest blogging is still highly effective. You should be using it, but it is what it is. Don't be on like a moral high ground that you're like, oh, I built all my links through guest blog. Like I'm totally safe. You're not. Google have told us they don't like guest blogging. John Muller's we know that it's not. They specifically told us it hasn't. If you go and view the full post, you can read all of Google's announcements on guest blogging. But it is highly effective. It does really, really, really work. You know, so yeah, you should use it. It's one of the primary link building strategies I use across all of the sites. But in essence, guest blogging has now become buying links. Let's be honest.
Okay, look, we're halfway through the list of 12. That was number 6. The general question I wanted to ask you is quite a lot of these 12 involve outreach in some sort of description in some way. And I'm sure you get probably hundreds daily, weekly. I get dozens sort of daily, weekly of people outreaching for links. That's just shocking, some of it, and it's getting worse, and most of it's automated. Do we take a sort of authority hacker, semi-automated, scaled way of outreaching for these links, or do we do it completely personally, one-off, and hope that really personalised approach gets us that connection that we want and then a better chance of getting the link?
You do both. Now, okay, so first of all, let me tell you this. I get significantly less requests now that I set up filters for all the templates any popular blogger publishes. Brian Dean, you screw the amount of time I spent deleting bloody Brian Dean's email outreach templates. Like, in the end, I just set up filters and I set them for all. So if you're using those templates, you ain't reaching me. I might even release those filters because they save me a lot of time per week.
That would be a great blog post in itself, because I'm sure I know exactly. I could tell you the wording of those, because I think we get similar ones.
In terms of scalable outreach that's personalised. Now, I know Authority Hacker recently did their course and everything. I had a little look and I pointed them in the direction of a better system and way of doing it. You can personalize on bulk, and the way we do it is we have people that are dedicated to, first of all, inspecting the opportunities and then personalizing them. So I love stealing competitors' backlinks. We're going to talk about it in a moment, but we'll scrape all of the targets, we'll load them into the system, and then we have someone that just goes through and says, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Do we want a link from this site? And then off the back of that, they're then asked to personalize it. So all the ones that get selected, yes, okay, now we're personalizing it. So we do simple things like one of the biggest turnoffs for me is like you post my exact blog post title or URL. Like if that's in the outreach, delete, because I know that you've just scraped it, right? So our personalizer will actually rewrite the title a little bit. So instead of it being like 12 incredible link building strategies, which is an exact match of my title, it'll be like, oh, your post about link building strategies. Like it makes it so that you know that bit was written by a human. They'll also do things like we have a field with a drop down saying what's a general color scheme of the site. So they select a drop down, and if the general color scheme's blue, it's got like an if then else that inputs into the template and says, personalize like that. So you can personalize at scale if you build a system to do it. So we have someone who's very cheap that does the inspections and personalizations, and then somebody else who's actually native British speaker who does all of the replies and the management of that. So do you personalize or scale? You do both. That's the answer.
Okay, that's a brilliant answer then. Okay.
You're listening to the Content Champion podcast, showcasing the training and tools you need to become a content marketing champion in your online business.
Let's crack on with the list. We're at number 7, I believe, broken link building.
Yes. Okay. So broken link building, nice and easy. It's you're trying to do people a favor. You're looking for links on their site that are currently broken, and then suggesting yours as a replacement. Usually, if you find one broken link, let's say I find that there was a link to one of your posts that was broken, I could then bang that into Ahrefs and look at all of the other backlinks that are pointing to it, knowing that they're all broken as well. So usually once you find one broken link, that's the seed to finding lots of broken links. And then it's just the outreach game on letting people know, hey, you got the broken link. I just wanted to let you know. Personally, I don't pitch a replacement in the first email. I just let them know. And then when they reply, then I pitch a replacement.
Okay, and I guess number 8 filters into that one as well, reverse engineering your competitors and what they're doing. It's kind of related, isn't it?
My favorite link building strategy of all time is, and if you've read my blog, you're probably sick and tired of hearing me bang on about this, but it's what I've been using for like a decade. It's just easy. Like, download your competitors' backlinks and copy them. That's it. Sometimes that might mean you just need to submit a blog comment, reply to a forum post. Maybe you need to write a guest post. Maybe your competitor's got a link on a resource page, so you just need to email to get included on the resource. Like, you're just taking what's already working for your competitors. Google's telling you it's working because it's currently ranking the sites. You know that Google loves the link profile, and you're trying to replicate as much as that for yourself. More often than not, you can replicate a lot of it just by hand really quick, just burning through it. Like, there's lots of stuff that you can do. And if you hit the homepage of my blog, I've built 2 spreadsheets. One that steals your competitor's keyword strategy, so you can build a complete keyword strategy in 5 minutes. And then the second part to that is then stealing all the links to support your keyword strategy. And it filters out all of the dummy links. It tells you which links you should attack first in which order, removes all of the spam and cleans everything up. So between those 2 sheets, you can build a keyword strategy and a link building strategy in less than 15 minutes for any niche you're in. But it's based on stealing not just your competitors' keywords, but stealing your competitors' backlinks, reverse engineering what is currently working and applying it to your own site. Great strategy. I do it on every single site that I launch. Like, it's in fact, even on posts and pages that I'm launching on the blog, I'm doing it as well. So, favorite strategy of all time.
Okay, cool. I've got those spreadsheets. I recommend everyone gets them because I've been through that process. It's great. So, okay, let's move on. Where are we? Number 8 is we're on
number 9.
Number 9. There we go. Newsjacking. I've done a bit of this. This is an excellent one.
Yeah, newsjacking is just finding what's the top of the popular news trend and finding a way to hook into it. There's lots of different ways that you can do it. I haven't watched the news in the last week or so. I don't know what's going on. Have you got any examples of current newsworthy items?
Yeah, I did one on Trump. He was visiting the UK, and there was something about him going to shutting the US embassy or moving the US embassy. I think it was his first visit, and there was someone had set up a Trump statue and really got on it really quickly with their PR team. And I sent out a tweet saying, whoever's, on their PR team there is doing a great job of their digital marketing, and then surreptitiously linked through to my own site. And I got a lot of retweets and tweets of that just because it was related to Trump, and it was really quickly done by their PR people. So it's kind of related, but that type of thing, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, Donald Trump provides an endless amount of opportunities for newsjacking in one way or another. I'm pretty sure if you did publish like the Donald Trump Guide to SEO and did it a bit tongue in cheek, you'd get some pretty good traction.
That would make a great infographic, wouldn't it? I'm going to steal that.
Yeah, please do.
You wouldn't be able to publish it though because of some of the language he uses, I guess. But okay, so where are we now? We've done 8, we've done 9. I'm finding out that I can't count to 12. We've got number 10, influencer marketing.
Influencer marketing, nice and easy strategy. Anyone can apply this. We're essentially taking advantage of influencers' egos, looking at how we can fan their flame. And there's a number of ways we can do it. You could just write a post that's like the top 5 blogs, SEO blogs, and then reach out to each person saying, hey, I listed you as one of my favorite SEO blogs. Would you mind sharing or linking to it? Quite often people have a pages like an as seen on or where they were featured and things like that. And you can score links from doing that. Another way you can kind of throw gasoline on that a little bit is instead of just making a list of blogs and saying they're my favorites, get a graphics studio to create some award images, badges, and then reach out and actually give them the badge to display on their blog or site or wherever they want to put it. Or interviews, reach out to people, offer them an interview. Usually you can get a link back that way. Essentially just look at different ways you can fan the flame of an influencer so they in turn link back to you and fan your flame. That's really all there is to it. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. Number 11 is one of my favourite ones of all time, data-driven content. If you get this right and create something really unique based on stuff you've found that no one else has, it can be really powerful for getting those links back, can't it?
Yeah, I've had some pretty decent success with this. Ahrefs versus Majestic. I've ran a million domain test a few times with those guys. Ahrefs always won, but that's been a great attractor of links. Actually, I'm going to repeat that study in the next, where are we at for? By the end of the month, actually, and we'll be doing the million domain test across Ahrefs, Majestic, Moz, SEMrush, and SEO Spyglass. So I'm going to take that to the next level in the next publication. I've also had great success doing that with things like backlink indexing, which is the best WordPress hosting. I did lots of testing and case studies there. So taking time to set up case studies and collecting that data that's unique to you and then sharing it in a way that's relevant to your community is a great way to attract links. I've had great success with it, and depending on your niche, depends on how you can apply it. If you were, let's say, for example, in a weight loss niche, you might do it where you send out a survey to people that are currently trying to lose weight, asking them questions, and then publish the results of that survey. Quite often you find people extrapolating the data and they'll be like 10% of Americans have this problem when really they only asked 100 people,
Mm-hmm.
But that publishing that data-driven content will attract links, and it allows you to pitch media sources rather than just kind of trying to get links off people like me.
But you've got to be able to stand behind that research, haven't you, and defend it? Because I know in those big posts you talked about, some people that you'd featured, and it's a fair comparison, came back to you and said, I don't like what you're doing. And you said, well, too bad, because that's what I found.
Yeah, you're always going to get that. And actually, the Majestic Ahrefs million domain test was born out of the fact that Majestic called me out on a smaller test, saying that it was inaccurate, it only used a handful of domains, it was biased, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, well, Majestic says it's biased. How can I make it not biased? I'm just going to use their data, their Majestic million, the domains that they say they have the most data on, and I'm going to take their data set and run it against competitors using their methodology that they published on their blog, and then they couldn't then call bias. Obviously, they still picked holes with it and everything else, and I guess they're going to continue to do so with the next. But you're always going to get people that don't feel what the data reflects, and they're going to let you know. So,
But even with things like basic examples, like lists of stats and things that you've researched, or you've had someone research for you, digging out lots of different information and putting it together in a post can be good as well, and attract links.
Yeah, you can just round up other statistics. You could round up other statistics, have mini graphics made of the statistics, and then contact the people who you got the graphics from, who you got the data from, and say, hey, I just made this graphic, cool. Do you want me to co-brand it? And there's lots of things that you can do with that to attract links, and more importantly than attract links, but build relationships with those other sites, which will in turn earn more links in the future.
Okay, that's a good one, because it's content marketing related, isn't it? Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
Number 12 now, the final one on the list, link reclamation. Does this only work if you're a brand already?
Okay, so if you're just starting from zero, not a good one. But if you're getting 500 organic traffic a month or more, you might want to start paying attention to link reclamation. And link reclamation is when someone mentions your brand, your site, or your URL, but don't actually put the link in. So you want to monitor that and then contact people and be like, hey, you kind of mentioned me, but you didn't link. Would you mind just putting a link? And 9 times out of 10 people, oh, yeah, sorry, yeah, and they just put it in. And then 10% of people are like, yeah, $100 for a do follow link. Even though they're mentioning you, like, to link it, they want $100. So there's a search in the post that you can do to find those. You can also use Google Alerts to do this. I actually use Ahrefs alerts and Google alerts and Walker alerts in combination to find mentions that aren't linked, and actually that just goes into my my link building process and outreach process that we talked about a little bit before. But that's a great surefire win, because they're already mentioning you. Converting that into a link is like nearly a guaranteed hit. But if you're just a new site, you're not going to have those unlinked mentions or unlinked URLs as such. But it's certainly something to monitor. It doesn't cost anything. It's easy to do. And
just something that's related to the data-driven content and that one, if you create these unique images and someone uses them without your permission, can you get a link back from that? Can you do it with images, or is that more complicated?
Yeah, you can do reverse image search to find other people that are using your image, and then just shoot them an email and be like, hey, you're using this image without crediting. Would you mind adding a little credit link? And 9 times out of 10 people will.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. One of the advantages to creating unique images, by the way, and you might have seen it in a lot of my more recent content, I'm creating like mini tutorial graphics, not really infographics, but more tutorial graphics where you can just look at the graphic and learn how to do something, but in as compact a style as possible. One of the reasons I'm doing that is because in the future, everyone that's been stealing and using them, I'm going to send those emails out and be like, hey, where's my links? So that's one of the benefits of Google loves unique images anyway, we know that, but as well as touching your audience, it gives you an opportunity to build links in the future. So that one graphic that you might think, oh, well, it's a bit of an effort getting that done and all the rest of it, it's actually the benefits to you come in many, many ways.
Cool. Okay. Well, that's a fantastic list. We've been through all 12. As you said at the top of the show, only pick 2 or 3 that appeal to you or fit your skill set. And then after the show, you can move forward with them. And in your post that you published on this, you said if you just do that for the next sort of year, you will increase your traffic, won't you?
Yeah, you just just the problem is people suffer from information overload, and I hate writing stuff that's like 12 link building strategies, but the data tells me that that's what people want. It's what people engage with. But I know that people aren't walking away and then implementing that and seeing results because they're like, oh, I'm going to try that. Oh, that's cool. That's like, so I've kind of got this conflict as in how people digest it. So go through it, pick two. If you've never paid attention to internal link building before, that should be the one that you should pay attention to. If you're not stealing your competitors' backlinks, that's one of the easiest to implement that will get you a wide range of different types of backlinks. It doesn't cost much to do. In fact, you can do it for free if you take advantage of free trials. Those two are probably the most accessible to everybody in terms of they don't take much time and they don't cost much to do, if not free. And then from that, just those two is enough to drive you forward.
Okay, fantastic. Now, before we move on to the PS question, could you just remind us where we can find you online, please?
Yeah, you can find me on matthewwoodward.co.uk, on YouTube. I mean, you might be able to see behind me, I got a video studio set up right here, so I'm putting out some really good content on YouTube. You should subscribe to my channel there, Matt Woodward UK. If you need help increasing the rankings of your site, my team can do it for you over at searchlogistics.com. We take on monthly clients and we have great success there. There's tons of case studies. If you love SEO case studies, head over to searchlogistics.com. There's tons for you to digest. And that's it. You feel free to reach out to me at any time. I'm always there answering comments and questions. My blog was set up to help people, so don't be afraid to ask questions if you have any.
Wait for it, listeners. Here comes the PS question.
Superb. Okay, this is what I call the PS question. Bit of a curveball, given that we've just been through 12 link building techniques. But could you please share one other advanced SEO tactic that we can use right after the show?
Ooh, one other advanced SEO that you can use like right now in the next 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Well, if you missed it, I guess last week I published about FAQ Rich Snippets. Now, FAQ Rich Snippets themselves are nothing new. You've probably read about them on Search Engine Journal a bunch of times and all the rest of it. But what is new is how they're behaving in search results. Now, back in January, not really worth bothering with. Right now, you need to go hit the homepage of my site, matthewwoodward.co.uk, click to increase your search traffic. You'll hit the SEO page, and then on the right box, look for FAQ Rich Snippets and watch that video. I show you how in less than, well, I'm going to say 5 minutes, but everyone else that's been testing it, they're getting results in 30 seconds, 60 seconds. You can add the FAQ Rich Snippet code to your page, then go in Google Search Console, request reindexing, and instantly you will see all of those FAQ boxes appear on your search result. Now, that means that you go from owning like this much real estate on the screen to this much real estate. Now, people are saying, oh, well, that will decrease click-through rate because people can just click on the FAQ question and see the content without clicking through to your result. But we can use copywriting to tease people into clicking through. We can give people the answer or half of the answer and then tease them into clicking through. And these FAQ snippets, okay, they might reduce the average click-through rate for a search result, but would you rather your competitor had it or you had it? Like, if the appearance of them is reducing the average click-through rate, well, it's better that you've got it because it's better to have more screen real estate, right? And why would you want your competitor to have it? So you can go away right now, add the FAQ snippets, and instantly increase the visibility of your search result within however long it takes you to copy and paste a snippet and update the reindex in Google Search Console. We've seen results from, I had a page move from number 12 to number 3 with the FAQ snippet to the featured position at top, position 0. Unfortunately, it dropped after a couple of days, but it was at position 12 originally, and then jumped up to position 3, and now it's still at position 3. We had one guy integrate it, and previously his competitor had the featured snippet at the top. He integrated the FAQ snippets, and it removed the featured snippet entirely from the SERP. It no longer displayed, and moved him to organic 1 with the FAQ underneath instantly.
That's amazing. So that means Google is waiting for those spots to be filled by someone proactively doing it themselves.
Yes.
Right.
Now,
I'm not going to publish this. I'm going to go and do it before anyone else does it.
Yeah, well, I published it last week. A bunch of people have seen it already. It's nothing new. I'm not reinventing the wheel here, but how effective it has become, that's what's changed. And the reason it's so effective is because of Google's desire to dominate voice search and voice assistants. Now, if you've been paying attention to the news, you'll have seen that Google are winning all of the comparisons in terms of accuracy and things like that. Just last month, they were recognized as the most accurate device for providing medical advice. Now, where are they getting that data from? They're getting it from featured snippets, rich snippets, FAQ snippets, we're giving it to them. So what better way to win the voice assistant market than increase the weighting of such things in search results? So all the idiot SEOs like us go run out and give them the data to win what is a $60 billion a year market. Alexa doesn't, and Amazon do not have that capability. Apple do not have that capability. Google have been organizing the world's information for like 20 years. It's what they do better than anyone else. So voice search very much depends on accessibility to structured, organized data. And that's why Google are winning. And that's why I think the FAQ snippets have so much weight in the search, because I've not seen anything like this I don't think I've ever seen this level of control where you can add something to your page and instantly influence the live search result globally.
That's amazing.
I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. It makes sense that Google will be like, okay, well, let's win the market. All we got to do is this.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely going to do that. I'm definitely going to go and give that a try.
Yeah. It's and I've got on my site a tutorial that shows you different examples of how I applied it. In fact, I show you in real time the application of it, and I show you different examples of how we use it. And I've also built a tool that helps you generate the code, and you can just go on the site and use that for free.
Fantastic.
So go try it. Go try it, and it'd be interesting to see how quickly you send me the results.
Well, that's it. I mean, it's a great list, great call, fantastic answer to the PS question. That case study, that tutorial you just outlined there is exactly why your blog's so popular and why I've been following it since the start. So thanks for coming on.
I didn't invent that, but you know.
Well, I mean, it's not necessarily invention, is it? It's what you've just added to that to make it usable for everyone. So on that basis, Matthew, thank you very much for coming on, and I wish you every success with everything in future.
Thank you. You as well. Thanks for having me.
You've been listening to the Content Champion podcast, available at contentchampion.com and on iTunes. Until next time, thanks for listening.